Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So, today's going to be a bit of a weird video, if you can call it that. It's another negative, I guess, story time, just because I feel like it's quite helpful for people to know about like these kinds of things. Today I'm going to be talking about when I nearly had sepsis, and I'm going to be talking about like the things that were going through my head and how I even got to the conclusion of it, and especially like for people in my position who have portacaths or things. I'll go into detail about what they are in a minute, but if they have one, then what to look out for, because like obviously I had an infection in my portacath which led on to like some other weird stuff which I'll go into, and like what to look out for, like what the first signs of having an infection in your portacath, just so that people know, because I didn't know that this could happen. And I really truly believe that the universe was on my side for most of this, because, yeah, there was just some weird stuff that happened, and it just led to all this happening, really. So, I hope you enjoy this video. If you do, smash a big thumbs up, subscribe down below, and let's get into this video. So, first of all, when I was on my infusion, because I have a weekly infusion, portacaths are like little metal things, I guess, that are surgically attached into your skin. Mine's like around my chest area, so that's why I really can't show it, but it's like literally like a lump coming out my skin. You can kind of see it under my bra there. But it just kind of pokes out, and it's like a little metal thing. Where I think it's metal anyway. I might be wrong with that. But it's a little lump in your skin that's surgically attached, and then my gripper needle, which is the type of needle you need for a portacath, goes into that area, and then I can have my infusion through the portacath. It's just so much easier than putting it through a cannula in your arm. So that's kind of why I got one of these. But this is basically the story of how I've got this moved now, because it used to be like right in my breast tissue, like it literally used to be right there. Now it's been moved down, and I'm going to explain why. So, first of all, on my infusions, I got this sensation, which was really odd because I'd never had this before, but it literally went on for months. But it was just after my tracheal resection, which is why I think there's some kind of thing that happened there that led on to having an infection, because it was literally right after that surgery when I kept experiencing this feeling, and the only way I can describe it is that I was feeling squirmy. So I was having to do this like 36 ml and stuff, and that's like at the end of the infusion, by the way, and I would have that for like hours, like just doing that, and then it would go after my infusion. When the infusion had stopped, it would completely go. So I was very happy when it went, but I had an appointment, like I always do. I call it my MOT in the hospital that I go at. This is my MOT, so they check bloods, urine samples, they do x-rays, MRI scans and all that. That's over the course of a few months, but sometimes it's in like one big day, so I have to take a whole day off school to just go to the hospital, but it's normally around the same time every year. And this one was in, I want to say in July. It was just after my tracheal resection. So, yeah. So I think that's why I think some of it has something to do with the tracheal resection that I had, because, it was just after that surgery. So this was the Friday, I want to say the Friday when I had this done. So I had multiple normal cultures done, but when I went there, I had in my head, I'm going to ask the doctors to check every single culture there is, just so that, for my own peace of mind, to show me that there isn't any infection or anything I should be worried about. But then something came over me that day, and I was like, no, I'm not asking them. Mum was like, are you sure? I was like, yeah, I'm not going to ask them. So that was that. I wasn't going to ask them, but Mum, before we went in, said, I'm sorry, but I'm going against your word there. I'm going to have to ask them if there's anything wrong, because they need to check every single blood culture, just so, for both of our peace of mind, everything's fine. I was like, no, don't ask, kind of thing. Just because I don't even know why I didn't want them to ask, but Mum did ask in the end. And I'm so glad she did, because the doctor that I was seeing was saying, is there anything going on with your weekly infusions? Is there anything that we need to know about? She was like, yeah, there is actually. We weren't going to say anything, but, and then she said she's been having these squirmy things every time. And he was like, right, we'll do more blood cultures. We'll take blood cultures of infections and kind of things like that of your port, which I'm so glad he did. He basically saved my life, because if it had developed any further, if I didn't get that blood test then I could have developed sepsis. And if you guys don't know what sepsis is, it's basically where you have an infection somewhere in your body and it spreads everywhere and then it kills you. So it's quite bad and stuff like that. It's really quite bad, and that was the worry, that I was going to create and have sepsis. So he took blood cultures, and that was on the Friday. On that Friday, when we got home, I was set to go to Anglesey for the weekend with one of my best friends, and that was really fun. That was a really fun holiday, and it was quite nice. But the whole time I was there, I was worried about the fact that some kind of blood culture would have come through. I didn't really understand, because this was on the Sunday before we left. Because we left, I feel we left on the Sunday evening, so this was Sunday morning, and I kept thinking to myself, why haven't I had the results yet? Because normally you get your results the day after. That's how quick my hospital is. You get the results the day after. So they say no news is good news. So I was like, yay, I haven't got an infection or anything. I'm completely clear. I can actually enjoy my holiday. Because I was thinking to myself all this time, why haven't I had any news yet? Have I got an infection and they're just not telling me, or what? So we get home on the Sunday evening, and Mum sat me down and she said, I got an email on Saturday morning, and I didn't want to ruin your holiday because obviously this is quite bad news. And I go, oh no, what's happened now? She goes, you've got a yeast infection in your porta cath, because they always take blood cultures from my ports just because that's where the infusion goes. And that's why you've been feeling squirmy, because it's been literally when you put Vimizim in the wire, it kind of pushes the infection further in, and that's when you're feeling a bit squirmy. So she was like, oh God, like, I'm sorry to tell you that, but what you need to do, and this was like the worst thing for me. So before I ended up having infusions at home, or before even Mum was trained up, I used to go to a separate hospital, not my main hospital, but a separate hospital, a local hospital. Yeah, I don't want to say anything like really bad, but the infusions I had there, they were struggling a bit to get like the gripper needle in and stuff, and they were very vocal about it, so it was quite scary for me to be going there every week. But long story short, I didn't really like that hospital too much. So when Mum actually told me that we'd have to go there, every day that week, let me add, starting on Monday to Friday, having antifungals put into my port, have like multiple x-rays, multiple ultrasounds, I think it's called, which I'll tell you about that in a minute. I think I had a heart echo. I had some other kind of weird stuff done to me. But yeah, just to see if it's going to spread. She was like, I hate to tell you, but you were going to have to go there. My heart literally dropped. I was like, okay, to another hospital we go. Because at this point, I'd been to a hospital on Friday. I don't want to go to another hospital. And this was before I went into A&E. If you haven't seen the video that I went into 3 different hospitals in 2 weeks, make sure to go and click the I can't remember which way it is, I'll have an arrow or somewhere, but go and see that video, because yeah, it was crazy that I went into like 3 different hospitals in 2 weeks. But anyway, this was before then. This was like, I think 2021, so 2 years ago. 3 years ago? 2 years ago. 2 years ago. But yeah, so she gave me the news that we'd have to go to this hospital, and it was like, oh God. So I woke up earlier on the Monday. We went to the hospital to do antifungals. I have never been prouder of my mum than this moment, because she, if you don't know, she's she used to be needle phobic. She still is like a tiny bit, like with cannulas and stuff, but she's obviously gotten over the majority of her fears. And when we last saw those, it was like really hard for them to put the grippers in and stuff. She did it in the first few seconds, and the nurse wasn't even ready. She wasn't prepared with like the stuff yet, because obviously she knew me. She knew how long it took to get it in, so she's like, yay, kind of thing, like, you've done it. And I was like, she's like, you've done it already, we're not even ready yet. She's like, yeah, I've done it. I'm just amazing, aren't I? But yeah, so actually, I've never had a prouder moment of my mum, like, honestly. So, sorry, there was a plane outside before. It was like quite high up, but it was still quite nice to see. If you're wondering why I keep looking up at the sky. But yeah, so that was brilliant. She got it in first time, and I had my first dose of antifungals. Now, because Mum is my trained nurse, she was allowed to take it home, and she was able to give it me like at home. So Dad actually made a temporary drip stand. I don't know if I have the photo anymore, because if you also didn't know, I will link it in the eye, but my Instagram got taken down because of my height. So I don't know if I still have the photo. If I do have the photo of my DIY drip stand, then I will put a photo on screen, but I don't think I do anymore. So he made it out of like a microphone stand, a piece of wood which was like about that big, and like a little hook. So we were hanging like my medicine off that, my antifungals off that, and I was able to do everything myself, like, you know. So I was able to do things at the same time, which when I'm on my infusion sometimes I can't, because yeah, my mind's just not happy with it. So yeah, this was a different experience, having a drip stand again, because I hadn't had a drip stand since I last went into hospital, which was crazy, like for an infusion kind of thing. It was crazy. Anyway, so yeah, we had antifungals at home, and that was brilliant. But we still had to go back and forth for treatments, just in case I developed sepsis or anything. So the ultrasound was the hardest thing. I can say on my life that I will never get pregnant, because the thought of a child like moving around in there haunts me. I have a weird thing with my belly where you can't even touch it. Sometimes it's that bad that I can't even touch it, which is really bad. But I think it's because obviously all my organs are in there. They're the same size as a normal 16-year-old, so they're all really cramped. And when you touch my tummy, sometimes it can make me gag, which is really bad. So through the whole time I was having this ultrasound, I was gagging non-stop. It was really bad. So yeah, I can safely say that I will never be pregnant ever again. What the hell am I talking about? Ever in my life, because that was like the weirdest sensation I've ever felt in my entire life. So yeah, that was very weird. I had heart echoes, which I am not complaining about. I absolutely love having heart echoes. Like, they're my most favourite thing ever. I had a few x-rays, which is okay, because I'm used to them anyway. I'm used to having heart echoes and x-rays. The only thing I wasn't used to was an ultrasound. But obviously I'm never having one of them ever again. But yeah, it was a very weird sensation. Anyway, so then comes Friday evening. I get the news, and before you say it, no, I was not clear. So they gave me the news that I was having an emergency operation on the Monday morning to take my portacath out, because they were worried that the port was going to spread before it was caught by the antifungals. So it was scared, like they were really scared of it. So I think this is the best way to give me news that I was going to have another operation. Personally, because I get a lot of anxiety. I have anxiety attacks all the time. So to know that I was having an operation soon, and soon as in 3 days, which was perfect, because I didn't have the worry about it so much. Like, I was just like, right, let's get this out, because I can't keep going back to this hospital every day. So they took it out, and I was well happy. But then I had to have my infusion through a cannula in my arm, which when I was younger, it took ages to get a cannula in my veins. Like, it took ages, like years, it felt like, which is why I got a portacath. But then, yeah, it took ages to get it in, and luckily I had the best nurse ever to do my cannula for me. So thank you for doing that for me, because she actually got it in. First time's lucky, and it was brilliant. So thank you, shout out to you. But yeah, it was lovely to know that a nurse could actually get it in. Anyway, so fast forward to September. So the infection had started in July, and now we're in September. So we've gone through 2 months of this infection. No, we've gone through 2 months of me having an infusion through a cannula for me to have another portacath, which is why I've got a portacath there now instead of there. So that's why it was moved, and I'm so glad it was moved down, because I'm sure the man must have put it there just like, they didn't think of growing up, did they? So I had that portacath, which is crazy to think of, because normally it's like 3 years it lasts for, but I had that portacath for 7 whole years, which is crazy that I had it for 7 years. But there you go, 7 whole years, and it was gone for that long. So yeah, I had a name for the old one. I can't remember what it was now. Oh my god, I can't remember what the other one was called. I'll find the name and put it on screen. But thank you to this for serving me for that long. Like, it's crazy. So, I'm coming up to this one's 2nd birthday in September. This will be its 2nd birthday. And this one is called Luna Hayes. I asked on my Instagram, as like an Instagrammer does, I asked on my Instagram what I should name it, and most of you said Luna Hayes. So this one is now called Luna Hayes. I did say like this name 2.0, and I think I gave another name as well, just so that we've got broader options. But you voted Luna Hayes, so that's what it's called, and I'm very happy about it, because now when Mum's accessing it, Luna points to Luna, so I have to get into the position where Luna is literally pointing to the sky. Because if you didn't know, Luna is Spanish for moon, so Luna points to the moon, so that just shows me where to go. But yeah, it was brilliant, and I can say, hand on heart, that it was the worst experience I have ever had in my entire life, other than the fact that I went into A&E. You know, that time was also the worst experience I've ever had. But, you know, I got a new thing out of it. I got a new Luna, and she is hopefully going to serve better, or maybe even as long. Like, that might not be possible, but you never know. So thank you to this one for serving me for so long, and thanks for watching this video. If I did help you in any way, if you are disabled, you've got a portacath or anything, please give it a thumbs up, because I want to know that I've helped you guys. Like, I want to know that I've helped someone in this, because even if I've helped like one person out of 127 of you guys, which thank you very much for all those subscribers. Just, yeah. So So I hope I've helped somebody out there for the signs to look out for when you have a port infection. But yeah, this was this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in my next video for hopefully one that's less dramatic. I'll see you soon. Bye.